I said, put the bunny back in the box.
Alright, so finally I'm getting to my last film that I wanted to review before putting up my personal list of top 10 films of 2014. Taken forever, and I actually saw this quite a while ago too. Right around the same time I saw Whiplash. It's taking me too long to record my review and get it up, but hopefully I'll get that list of my top 10 movies up here soon after this. So this is Birdman from 2014. This is another movie that's getting a ton of critical praise, and it's one of the big front runners for the Oscars this year, and it's just really nice to actually see that because this is a really original movie. And along with that, Michael Keaton is probably one of the top front runners for Best Actor. He won the Golden Globe for his performance, and I'll just kind of go through the list of nominations for Oscars real quick. So it's nominated for the Best Picture of the Year, Best Performance by a Leading Performer, Michael Keaton, Best Supporting Actor, Edward Norton, Best Supporting Actress for Emma Stone, Best Directing, Best Screenwriting, Best Cinematography, Sound, and Sound Editing. So it's got a lot of awards that it could win. Hopefully it wins a couple. It's a really, really good movie. This is obviously going to be on my top 10 list here for the 2014. Before I get into some of the more, like the acting and the directing and all that, I'll just kind of give a quick review. So it's kind of, when people ask what it's about, it's interesting because it's it's got like a very meta story to it. It's very, very self-referential, with Michael Keaton being cast as the lead actor here. He plays a man named Regan Thompson, and he just kind of actually, it's very satirical kind of look at Michael Keaton's life. So Regan Thompson was an action star in like the 90s for a franchise called Birdman, where he dressed up as a big bird, and he refused to do like the third or fourth sequel, even though he was going to get a bunch of money. He wanted to do other things, and then of course now the superhero genre is really big, and this is the same thing that's in the story. It just is kind of like what's happening now in real life. And so Regan was wanting to kind of resurrect his career quite a bit, and so he is writing, directing, and acting in a Broadway play. And so he's just trying to revive his career and kind of get out there that he's more than just this Birdman that he played a long time ago. And the movie follows the first couple days of previews before the opening night on Broadway. And there's quite a few things that go wrong. They have to recast a major role, and that is recast by Edward Norton's character, steps in. I'm looking for his name here, Mike, and some of the other main actresses. Naomi Watts is one of the actresses in the play. Emma Stone plays his daughter, and she's a big role. A lot of plot comes into the story about her drug addictions, or she's been in rehab or whatever, and the relationship that Regan has with her, that is a big part of the story. And one of the other big parts is played by Zach Galifianakis, who's like his manager, and Regan's manager and everything like that. And he's actually pretty unrecognizable in this. Zach Galifianakis is, for a while, I kind of like, in my mind, I knew that he was in the movie, but then like I was seeing him on the screen, and I was like, that's Zach Galifianakis, right? It was just really weird because he looks a little different. His like beard's not as bushy. He's a little more clean cut, but he's also he's not being like super funny the whole time. Plays it really serious, and so it was just weird to see him like playing a straightforward role. But he's really good. So that's the plot, and it's interesting. Kind of one of the novel aspects to the story, or the movie, I guess, is that it's shot like it's one continuous take throughout these days. Unfortunately for me, that kind of, it didn't ruin anything, but I kept looking for the cuts, because there's obviously edits and cuts in certain parts, but so just kind of knowing that, I kind of looked for it. but that's like a really novel idea that it just follows Regan throughout this. I don't know what it is, 3 days, 2 or 3 days of setting up for this opening of the play, and it's like I kind of mentioned before, it's really good. It's really original. That's what I liked about it the most, is that I'm glad it's getting nominated for awards because it's such an original story, and it's, you know, self-referential to the movie industry itself and actors. It's also a really enticing look at theater, and I don't really see plays ever. I don't really know that world. So it's really interesting to see that, the behind the scenes, and kind of how that works a little bit. And yeah, the acting is just incredible throughout. I mean, obviously, there's three of the big acting Oscars. It's nominated for, you know, a lead actor and then supporting actor and supporting actress. So it's got to have great acting. And I think Michael Keaton, Edward Norton, and Emma Stone are all pretty deserving of those nominations, especially Norton and Keaton. They're great in this. So it's definitely worth a watch just for the acting, but also the story is awesome. And like I was mentioning, the shooting style, how it's like one long take, that's really familiar for this cinematographer, Emmanuel Lubisky. He also has a nomination for Best Cinematography. He worked with Alfonso Cuarón in Gravity the other year, and Children of Men, which have both been known for their really well done long takes. So that's pretty cool. And I don't think I mentioned it, but the director Alejandro Gonzalez Iñárritu, the last couple movies were Babel with Brad Pitt, and before that 21 Grams. I've seen those two movies, and then his big movie that kind of broke him out was Amores Perros. That was his foreign language film, one of his first films. He's a Mexican director. But yeah, great directing, great cinematography, great acting. It's definitely worth a watch. I'm giving it a 4 out of 5. So I just did Whiplash, not as high as Whiplash, but still a great movie. It's really interesting. It was a lot more surreal than I thought it was going to be. I mean, throughout the movie, Regan is talking to his alter ego, his Birdman character, but then that kind of gets ramped up at certain points, and it's it gets into these like kind of not real dream sequences, but they're very surreal, and you're not really sure what parts are real or what's happening. So I thought it was interesting. It was refreshing. I didn't really expect that, so that was cool. So yeah, I mean, I didn't really have any other movie connections. I can't think of a lot of movies that are, you know, based around putting on a play, at least off the top of my head, so I don't really have any movie connections. But yeah, so I'd say I'd definitely check it out. I don't think it's in theaters anymore. It's already on DVD. You can probably rent it. And Oscars are coming up pretty soon, so I'll definitely check it out. And I do have a sign-off for this one. There's this part of this movie that was just, I always think about it, and it makes me laugh because, like I mentioned, he talks to himself as the Birdman. And well, there's one part that's really funny, and he says, the Birdman character is talking to him, he's like, give him that bird call. Caw! All right, I'll leave it.